Uh,
Okay. Did we left on part 3, forgiveness for salvation? Do you know if we made it that far?
Not quite. I put my bookmark after paragraph 2.
Oh,
I think we're at paragraph 3. But we could skip on if
oh no. No need to skip on unless you want to. It's actually all the same stuff.
that's true, right? Oh, let's all right.
So
Paragraph 3.
yeah, so we're still on Song of Prayer, and we're on part 2, forgiveness to destroy, and paragraph 3. Would
Mhm.
you care to read for us?
Sure thing. Another form, still very much like the first, if it is understood, does not appear in quite such blatant arrogance. The one who would forgive the other does not claim to be the better. Now he says instead that here is one whose sinfulness he shares, since both have been unworthy and deserve the retribution of the wrath of God. This can appear to be a humble thought and may indeed induce a rivalry in sinlessness and guilt. It is not love for God's creation and the holiness that is his gift giver. Can his son condemn himself and still remember him? Here, the goal is to separate from God the son he loves and keep him from his source. This goal is also sought by those who seek the role of martyr at another's hand. Here must the aim be clearly seen, for this may pass as meekness and as charity instead of cruelty. Is it not kind to be accepting of another's spite and not respond except with silence, with a gentle smile? Behold, how good are you who bear with patience and with saintliness the anger and the hurt another gives, and do not show the bitter pain you feel. Forgiveness to destroy will often hide behind a cloak like this. It shows the face of suffering and pain in silent proof of guilt and of the ravages of sin, such as the witness that it offers one who could be savior, not an enemy. But having been made enemy, he must accept the guilt and heavy laid reproach that thus is put upon him. Is this love? Or is it rather treachery to one who needs salvation from the pain of guilt? What could the purpose be except to keep the witness of guilt away from love?
So this is looking kind of at the other side of the poppycock of the forgiveness to destroy is the unworthiness, the arrogance of unworthiness. Is what a good way to put it, or maybe a good way. Just because we have this, if you're a martyr, what does a martyr do? They sacrifice themselves so that someone else could be better. And so it's the other side of thinking I'm better than you and I'm going to let your sin slide. Uh, like I am, I am going to do worse or be worse or take the worse. Uh, because I'm sometimes because I'm worse, not always, but maybe people can be the martyr because they're better. But it produces that same problem of inequality. There's somebody better and somebody worse. We're different. There's a situation that is bad and unbearable, and it needs to be fixed. And where we're at is bad, and where we need to go is good. And the body is real. And because of that, your body can't be sacrificed. So somebody's body has to be sacrificed. And so I guess it has to be my body because it's the only way to to be happy and survive.
Because we are separate, because it is true that we are separate and sinful. So somebody has to pay, sort of a thing.
Well, ultimately it comes down to that. I don't think most people think of it through that way. They don't think what's actually happening. They don't go all the way back to guilt.
Mm.
The reality of the whole thing is it goes back to guilt. And
Mhm.
we're trying to cover up our guilt. Well, where does the guilt come from? Well, the guilt comes from being separate and knowing that I'm the one that chose the separate. And because of the separateness, I've destroyed oneness. And destroying oneness is destroying God. I did it. And now God is either dead and I'm bad and I feel horrible, or God is almost dead. I took what he wants and now he's coming after me and I'm terrified. Like that's the ultimate.
And so I'm
Uh,
going to punish, like, I'm either going to punish or be punished first as a preemptive strike so that God doesn't punish
it
me.
it's what did I just do? How about now? Okay. Um, the preemptive strike, well, it's my way to forget is what it is. So I'm not necessarily I'm not going to I don't want to hurt. And so what I want to do is forget. I want to forget what happened because it's too painful to look into the darkness and to see what I did, which is create that separation. And so what I do, and then I is in not Jevon the personality. This happened way before there was ever a personality. This is the ego as a whole, this giant ego that we all share. Uh,
Mhm.
and according to the non-dual uh, idea, the ego is it's the beginning of consciousness. This
Mhm. Mhm.
consciousness, to be conscious of something, you have to be separate. And so it's the ego is actually a very big structure that was created. Not
Mhm.
our little separate ego is also that, but it's a fractal. It just keeps replicating itself. And so that very big first ego that said, I can be free, I can experience life, I can be like God, started projecting itself out and projecting out the once once the idea of I can be free and separate from God, I can have what God has, which is special oneness on my own. Well, automatically that creates, or actually the crazy idea in the course says, what would it be like to be separate? I forget the exact words, but what would it be like? And so this
The
whole
crazy mad idea, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
what would it be like? And so then it creates this whole, it's kind of like a daydream. If you were to think, I wonder what it would be like to live in an apocalyptic world. Well, like the show I'm watching. And the crazy thing about it is if I think about it, I can experience it and I can be super thankful. I was actually walking around and being like, wow, I'm so thankful that I don't live in an apocalyptic world. Because I'm watching that show and it's really stirring up how hard it would be to live in it. And it's giving me incredible contrast uh, to my life right now. All these
Mhm.
things that are boring and I complain about and settle for. I'm like,
Mhm.
wow, I'm so thankful. So thankful I have this boring life. It's this postcard life.
Yeah.
And I've been loving it. And it's an incredible power that we have to imagine like that and to create this whole universe. So is my daydream any less real than the thing I'm looking out and creating in the back of my mind, thinking that it's reality. I'm walking through the world and I see grass. I'm like, oh, that's real. My daydream happens. I get lost. When I'm lost in my daydream, I don't see the grass anymore. There could actually be someone right in front of me being like, hello, where'd you go? And I'm like, oh, sorry, I was daydreaming. And so I don't even see them. I don't see the grass. I don't see the person in front of me saying hello. I don't see any of it. What do I see? I see the daydream. And so could that daydream be just as real as what I think is the real world? And that's what this is about, is that,
Mhm.
yeah, yes, that can be it. In fact, this whole thing that we're living in is a projection of guilt. It's usually a dark daydream. And so it's saying, well, if you're going to project a reality, if you're going to make up a reality, daydream it, make up a good one. Make up one of similarity, look for love instead of hate, instead of fear, look for sameness instead of difference, look for um, look for kindness instead of trickery, look for brothers and sisters instead of enemies, because it's not just a figurative thing. It quite literally creates the world you're in. Your intention. What are you intending to do?
It even sounds like it's saying in these three paragraphs, like, to not try to be good.
Is there a particular one? Uh,
Because uh the one who would forgive the other doesn't claim to be better. So like they're forgiving, but they're not claiming to be better. Now they're saying we're the same, but we're both the same unworthy.
I think it has to do with your intention. If your
Intention or attention?
intention, yeah, or attention, I guess it could work. If your
Intention.
intention is to forgive because you know you're better and you still hold the other as bad, that's forgiveness to destroy. If your intention is to see sameness and see innocence and to be able to get to the place where that makes sense,
Mm.
then you're doing the spiritual work of releasing this
Okay.
structure.
So it's saying like yes, see sameness, but see sameness in innocence, not see sameness in guilt. I think that's this, right?
Yeah, that works. Yeah, you could see sameness like I'm out to get you and you're out to get me. That's true. But even in that, there's something about, hey, I get it. Like if you're trying to get somebody and they're trying to get you, at least you have like this respect of the game that you're playing. And if you contextualize it like, oh, you're doing just what I'm doing, it makes it like there's not so much of a heavy load. You know, it's two bad guys playing it out. They're two equals and they're trying to screw each other over, but they respect each other because they know these two bad guys doing bad guy stuff. And, you know, maybe they get caught in their tricks and they're like, ah, you got me.
Hmm.
And then the other guy maybe has grace and lets him go for a second, spares his life. And he's like, okay, thank you. And he says, but you know, nothing changes, right? He's like, I know. And then they go their separate ways. I made up that movie, the little scene. But then they go their separate ways trying to trick each other and kill each other or whatever. It's, but so that's not necessarily love, of course, but they saw each other as playing this game. And then and then they're not doing kind things to each other, but yet they don't carry this hate. Like there's a separate thing that we do to each other on top of the things bad that happen. And that's this internal play that goes along in our mind. That's way worse than the bad action. Something horrific happens, your kid dies, and that's a horrible loss. But the thing that's way more painful is why it shouldn't have happened in your head over and over. That causes a divorce because you don't know how to love anybody else anymore because of the heartache and the suffering. It's a very high rate of divorce after a family loses a kid, um, because they continue the suffering in their head about what happened, and it can't happen. That can't happen, but it happened. But it can't happen, but it happened. And so then that's such a huge amount of energy of reenacting the thing and trying to make it not happen. For example, they have no more energy to or awareness to love someone else or to be with somebody else or um, to consider someone else. They're fully engaged in their made-up world of resistance and intense suffering. That's what the suffering is. It's this separate life I create inside my head, my daydream of suffering about the thing that happened. And so I can certainly forgive, but I can also not forgive. Well, this kind of forgiveness. Either way, if I hold on to anything, it's not really forgiveness, because the forgiveness that is really forgiveness is letting go of my judgments, which is all of my commentary about what's happening. And the reason on this line of thinking, the reason why it's so important is my judgment is just a dream within a dream. I'm getting stuck in another dream. It's my being on the lawn and daydreaming about something and missing the grass and missing the person trying to say hello.
Yeah.
What's up? I said hi to you 3 times. Oh, sorry. My mind was somewhere else. Well, that's that. And suffering is when my mind is in a really horrible place, and I've created in my mind another hell, and I can't get out of it, or I won't get out of it. I won't let it go. That's why it's important to look for sameness, look for uh, the opportunity to serve, look for innocence, because it's there. It's there just as much as the opportunities to protect and the opportunities uh, to attack and the reasons to fear.
I think looking for innocence, yeah, that's like the big one. Especially when you grow up with Catholic shame, you don't see yourself as innocent.
Mm.
And so seeing others as the same as you is still forgiveness to destroy when you don't believe yourself to be innocent.
Yeah, we're really crafty. We could use it all for separation games.
Yeah.
It's so easy. I mean, I've used all the spiritual stuff as separation tools. I'm on the spiritual path. Even that saying that is very common in the spiritual world
It's such a
insinuates there's a destination, and it's way down there, way down there. I might never get there.
it also insinuates that it's possible to not be on a spiritual path,
Yeah, that's true.
to like develop, to be on a path that doesn't develop spiritually.
Yep. And those poor bastards that aren't even wanting to be on a path, they're even worse than me.
Oh, man.
That's right. Crafty trickery.
Paragraph 6. So not all right there. We gotta still.
Good. Let's go.
Paragraph 6. Forgiveness to destroy can also take the form of bargaining and compromise. I will forgive you if you meet my needs, for in your slavery is my release. Say this to anyone and you are a slave, and you will seek to rid yourself of guilt in further bargains, which can give no hope, but only greater pain and misery. How fearful has forgiveness now become, and how distorted is the end it seeks. Have mercy on yourself who bargains thus. God gives and does not ask for recompense. There is no giving but to give like him. All else is mockery. For who would try to strike a bargain with the Son of God and thank his Father for his holiness?
Mm. Yeah, it's I will forgive you if you meet my needs, for in your slavery is my release. So I'm not there, you're not there, but if something different happens, then we're gonna be okay. It's the same game over and over again. I'm gonna take from you and I'm gonna gain, and you're gonna lose, but I'm still gonna be better off because I'm a separate thing than you. And so you can suffer and be and lose, and I can gain. It's that the idea of a zero-sum game could actually happen. But
Yeah, and
it
same in the other way, right?
mm,
Same the other way, like I can lose and you can win.
hmm that's right. Say it the other way.
I get to be the martyr. I get to be the good guy. You're the bad guy. It's the
Hmm.
same thing.
Or you're the better person. Maybe we're both good. Maybe I'm going to sacrifice for my family and suffer.
Hmm.
We're both good, but you're better. Or we're both good and I'm better, and so I'm going to give you all the things that I actually want. That's
Mhm.
it. That's a parent trap right there.
Mhm.
And then you hold all these grudgeries of, I sacrificed my whole life for you to have a great life.
Oh God. Yeah.
Right.
What would you show your brother? Would you try to reinforce his guilt and thus your own? Forgiveness is the means for your escape. How pitiful it is to make of it the means for further slavery and pain. Within the world of opposites, there is a way to use forgiveness for the goal of God and find the peace he offers you. Take nothing less, take nothing else, or you have sought your death and prayed for separation from yourself. Christ is for all because he is in all. It is his face of forgiveness. It is his face forgiveness lets you see. It is his face in which you see your own. All forms, hmm,
Oh, I just said,
hmm. All forms forgiveness takes that does not lead away from anger, condemnation, and comparisons of every kind are death.
mm.
For that is their purpose. For that is what their purposes have set. Be not deceived by them, but lay them by as worthless in their tragic offerings. You do not want to stay in slavery. You do not want to be afraid of God. You want to see the sunlight and glow of heaven shining on the face of the and the glow of heaven shining on the face of earth, redeemed from sin and in the love of God. For here is prayer released along with you. Your wings are free, and prayer will lift you up and bring you home where God would have you be.
That's right. All forms forgiveness take that do not lead away from anger, condemnation, and comparison of every kind are death. We're crafty, but when whatever we do or whatever, however we're contextualizing our world, when we experience, we have these experiences, which are just levels of frequency that create this experience. But when the frequency gives us the experience of anger, which is for me is like this resistance to life as it is, and I will not accept it. I'm going to change it now. It comes out of anger. Condemnation or comparisons, in general, comparisons put one or the other as less, imperfect by comparison, one or the other, whether it's what I have or who I am, or what they have or who they are. All those things, every one of them is a forgiveness to destroy. And so if it's not that, what is it? Well, what is it is figuring out, stepping back. I wouldn't even say going, in my mind, it's not going in, it's stepping back. Because I've zeroed in my awareness to be able to see just as a Jevon. It's like a very narrow awareness. And I have those horse blinders on so that all I can see is this little peephole of a reality. And it's so narrow, it's allowed me to not see everything else so that I can be completely deluded and tricked by this little thing called Jevon. And for me to be able to see more, I have to step out of it. And that's what we're doing. We're stepping out of this isolated awareness of your little personality, and you're able to see, wow, there are other perspectives. Wonder what that would be like. And you can step out. Or I wonder, even I wonder what's going on, where that anger come from. I'm in the middle of being super angry. Wow, where did this anger come from? I wonder how that anger was stimulated. Does everybody always get angry when they put their kids to bed? Probably not. I don't think that's a universal human condition. I
Probably
wonder.
most, but
Yeah.
but most does not make it universal. Yes, I get what you're saying.
Step back just a little bit, and then what's happening there? Well, I'm widening my intake instead of narrowing my perspective. I'm widening my perspective. And a couple things happen when I widen my perspective. One, I can take in more opportunities, more possible realities. And it's really helpful when the reality that you're in is not good. Taking more possible ones includes better ones, at least better experience by my judgment. And another thing that happens is, I forget the other thing I was going to say.
Sorry.
It was going to be amazing. But it's all made up. I think that's key. If you're experiencing a bad one, well, make up a better one. Work time?
Yeah. Gotta feed Theo, make myself a little something, and then work.
Work time.
Work
All
time.
right. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Have a good week.
You too.
See you Friday.